In the lecture today, we will learn two important commands, block and attributes. These two commands are very helpful for us to complete some complex two-dimensional joinings in AutoCAD. Now let's first take a look at the definition of the blocks. Generally, the block is defined as a collection of the objects in any two-dimensional or three-dimensional joinings. The objects could be the lines, arcs, circles, or even text. Those objects will be combined together to generate a more complex eternity that normally represents an object in the real world. For example, if you want to join a room layout, you probably want to set the same property for the doors or the windows or the chairs. In that sense, we can call the block command to generate the basic components for these objects. And later on, we can just insert the blocks to the joining. And this operation can simplify the joining a lot. The block command is very similar to the group command. Both commands are able to generate a single object which are consistent of multiple independent objects. While different from the group command, the block command is more advanced. With the block command, the property, including the color, shape, or even the dimension of the objects, can all be modified. Actually, introducing blocks can benefit to the joinings in AutoCAD a lot. First, from the definition, we know that blocks are single eternities, which are consistent of many independent objects. With blocks, we don't need to repeat the joining of fundamental components, and this one can help us to simplify the joining a lot. Second, you can build up a library of the blocks consisting of the parts that you require many times in your workday. So later on, once you want to complete your joining, you can just record the fundamental components from the library. And third, actually introducing blocks can help keeping your file size down and save some space for your computer. Fourth, if you want to change the property of the fundamental components, you can go to redefine the property of the block. Once the property of the block are modified, the properties of these basic components can be revised accordingly. Moreover, the block can contain non-graphic information and some internet hyperlinks, such as the supplies online catalog. So with these two advantages, you can insert more information to describe the blocks in your current joining. And those are the benefits of introducing blocks in AutoCAD joinings. In AutoCAD, there are two types of the blocks. The first one is the internal block. The command for the internal block is a block. The internal blocks are generated in your current joining file, and they can only be applied at your current joining file. The second type is the external block. The command for the external block is a W block. Generally, the external block shall be generated separately as an independent joining files, and also they shall be saved in an independent folder. The external block can be applied for your current joining file and also the other joining files. In this demonstration, we will learn how to generate a new block. Actually, to generate a new block in AutoCAD, we have to call the command block. And there are three steps for you to define a new block. The first thing is to identify the name of the block. In the example here, we want to generate a block for the chair. So we can define the name of the block as the chair 1. And next step is to specify the base point. The base point is actually defined as the reference point for you to insert or record the block in your current joining. So you can either specify that one from the screen, or you can just define the base point right now. So here I'm choosing the midpoint of the arc as the base point. And the last step is identify the objects that will be included in your block. So you can also specify the objects on the screen or just define them right now. In this example, we want to include all these objects in the chair. Once you complete the selection, click Enter. And then you complete definition of the block. Click OK. A new block will be generated. In the next several slides, I will show you how to use the block you just generated. Here I will show you how to insert an existing block to the current joining. The command is insert. Once you type this command in the command window, it will pop out this insert window. And here you can see that there are 4 steps for you to complete the operation. The first one is to specify the insert points. And this one will use the reference point to specify the location where you want to insert the object to your current joining. And then you have to define the scale, the rotation angle, and the units for the block. And once you have one internal block, or if we want to define the external block, we need to call the command wblock. In the next demonstration, I will show you how to insert the block tier 1 that we just defined to the current joining, and how to save that internal block as the external block. Now let's check how to insert the block tier 1 in the current joining. So we will use the command insert and enter the insert window. We need to specify the name of the block, which is tier 1. And next step, you have to identify the insert point, scale factor, rotation angle, and the block units. For the insert point, you can either specify the location of the block on the screen with your cursor, or you can find out a specific location with the x coordinates, y coordinates, and z coordinates. Generally, we are using the specify on screen option. For the scale factor, you also can either use the cursor to define the scale factor on the screen, or you can specify the scale factor at the x direction, y direction, and z direction. And if we want the scale factor at these 3 directions are the same, then choose the uniform scale. In this example, we want to set the scale factor as 2. And we set a uniform scale for all the 3 directions. For the rotation angle, similarly, we can specify the angle on the screen with the cursor, or you can predefine the angle, say it's 45 degrees. And then last, for the block units, generally the units is defined when the block is generated. For the block tier 1, the unit is inches, so you don't need to modify the value here. And then click OK. You can move your cursor to complete the insert of this block. And that's what we were done for this operation. To save one internal block as an external block, we have to call the command wblock, and then it will pop out the right block window. And if you don't have any block in your current joining, you may need to define a new block, just like what we did for the internal block, by selecting the base point and the objects. If you already have some internal blocks there, choose the block option here, and then specify the name that you want to save as the external block. And next step, you have to specify the destination for the external block, and navigate to the folder you want to save them. And you can see that the external block is saved as an independent joining file. Here is the tier1.joining file. Save them. And at the last step, you need to specify the units for the block. You can define any units you want for the block. Here we will keep the units as the inches. And click OK. You will just generate a new external block. And then let's see how can we insert the external block in a new joining file. We need to call the command insert and specify the insert points on the screen and identify the scale factor. Say it's 0.5, and the rotation angle says 90 degrees. Also, we need to find out the name of the external block. Here I don't have it, so we have to browse to the folder that you save the external block. So we are choosing the tier 1 here, click open, and then you can insert the block to the new joining file. And that's the way for you to generate an external block and use the external block in a new file. The second term we will learn here is the attribute or block attribute. Generally, the block attributes are defined as the text or labels of blocks. They will be used to insert some text descriptions about the property of the blocks. The command for you to generate a new attribute is attdf. Once you type this command under the command window, it will pop out the attribute definition window. And in this window, you can define the properties of the attributes. In the next slides, I will show you how to insert a new attribute in the current joining. Once you have a new attribute, you can also modify the property of the attribute by using the command textedit. In the next demonstration, I'm going to show you how to generate the attributes with the block to identify the elevation and the diameters of the objects in your current joining. In the next demonstration, I'm going to show you how to generate the attributes with the block to identify the elevation and the diameters of the objects in your current joining. In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to complete this room layout with the TV, chair, and door. Actually, here we already generated the blocks for these three components. So we just need to consider how to insert these three components in the current joining. So first, for the doors, we have two doors, and to insert the doors, we set the scale as 10 units. And for this door, we need to specify the angle as 180 degree. And now we can place the door at some location here. And for the second door, do the similar process. Specify the scale factor as 10 and the angle as 90 degree. And then put the door at some location here. That's the joining of the two doors. And then for the TV, with the insert command, specify the block for TV, and also for the scale factor set as 10, and the angle, first one for this one is 0 degree. We put the TV here, and for the second one, the scale factor is also 10, and the angle should be negative 90 degree. And then we put the TV at this location. And last, we will generate this three chairs. With the insert command, specify the block for chair 1, and the scale factor is 0.75. The angle here for this one is 0 degree. And then let's check the rest of the two chairs. Here's the insert, scale factor 0.75, angle, one is negative 90 degree. Put it here, and the other one, scale factor is 0.75, the angle is 90 degree. Put the chair at some location here. And that's the way for you to use the insert commands with the block to complete the room layout. This is the end of the first part about the block and attributes in AutoCAD. After class, you can follow the examples in this lecture to do more practice about these two commands. In the next lecture, we will learn the dynamic blocks, which is an advanced operation of the blocks in AutoCAD.